Today I want to show you how to cut up a whole chicken. It's a lot of fun. It's something that you don't need to be afraid of, but today we're going to take you step by step to make sure you do it the right way, the safe way, and the clean way. To get started, what you want to do is you want to face the legs to you. So you want to grab your knife, and I'm right-handed, so I'm going to use my left hand to hold the chicken and pull the piece. So we're going to start with the wing, and every wing has a flat and then a drumette. And the key to cutting a chicken, again, keep it stable. And what you want to do is before you make any cuts, you want to feel around. The key to a chicken is there's all these little special guidelines on a chicken that you really don't, once you make your first cut, you'll see. And we're going to do it slow so you can see what I'm talking about. We're going to start with the drumette, and now every drumette has that rounded part at the tip. So you're going to take that blade and you're going to make a cut, rounded, pulling towards you. And what you've done is you've exposed that ball joint, and that's important. So that first cut is very important. And like I said, once you get in there, it's very easy because you've made the right cut. You never want to cut into the bone. You always want to make an easy cut through the cartilage or through a tendon right there. So what we've done is we split that ball joint, and now we're going to turn the chicken to me, and we're going to come back around and make another cut from the other side. And that's it, so you have one whole wing. We're going to turn the chicken towards me. We're going to grab that wing. We're going to find that rounded part. We're going to find that ball joint. Secure that blade and find that space right there. And again, we went right through that ball joint. So what we're going to do is just come back around. And the reason you want a sharp knife is because you don't want to work. You want to just glide that knife through there and the meat will gut. It's going to cut clean and it's not going to give you any resistance. The second you have resistance is you know you've done something wrong. So now we have two wings, just like that. Now it starts getting a little bit more tricky. Okay, so now we have the legs, the leg quarters, and the breast. All right, so when you're doing the leg quarters, we're going to take a leg quarter off first, and the leg quarter consists of your drumstick and your thigh. So you're going to make a cut just through that. You're not going to cut anything but the skin. So you see you're just using the edge of the blade. The key to a fillet knife is it has that real thin blade. It lets you get in there real tight. And it's also a little bit of it has a little bit of flexibility, so it really allows you to cut the way you need to. So now that we've gotten through the skin, and we're going to go through the skin just a little bit more, because again, you want to expose all of that. And this is a real important part because you want to just use that knife and you want to get in there. But what you want to do is you want to pop, again, you want to pop the ball joint out. So you want to listen for that, and you hear it. So what you've done is you've taken the edge of the thigh bone and pulled it from the rest of the frame. Once you've broken that ball joint and you've popped that, what you want to do is you want to find the space between the ball joint and the rest of the thigh. So what you're going to do is you're just going to come down like that and just make a cut. When you hear that noise, that's okay, because what you're touching is a little bit of cartilage from over here, and that's okay. The key to it is you don't want to, if you're pushing down and you feel like you're really exerting a lot of pressure, that means you're doing something wrong again. So once you pop that ball joint, you know you're good. And it's okay, go slow. Work your way in there, make that final cut, and that's it. So you're left with a really nice leg quarter, okay? So it's really clean, ball joints exposed, and you have a drum and a thigh, okay? So we're just gonna wrap that skin like that. What you're gonna do is, again, just push down a little bit. It's kind of a twofold thing. So use a little pressure to hold that, to stabilize that, and then just make that cut in that skin, okay? And again, that real sharp blade is just gonna work its way through that skin. You wanna pop that, and you hear that. So it's a good sound, okay? So then again, you wanna find that space, which is right there. And if, to make it easy on you, just, kind of run your knife in there, come here, come through there, and you've made your cut. So now you have another clean leg quarter. So now what you want to do is you want to turn this back towards you so that the tip of this breast is facing you, okay? Today we're going to take the skin off. Some recipes might call for the skin. You might like the skin. I think the skin adds a lot of flavor, but today we're going to take it off. So what you're going to do is you're going to turn the chicken like that, left or right, whichever hand you're going to use. Of course, take your blade. And again, don't use the whole knife. Use the tip of that blade and just cut in there like that, just to break through that skin. Nothing much. And then if you need to, again, sometimes it's a little easier to pull, sometimes it's not. And all you want to do is you just want to pull light, just like that. But that's it. So all you're going to do is you're just going to pull a little bit, And you can pull that skin. Don't pull too much. I don't want you to damage the chicken. You want to have nice 2 pieces when you're ready to cook. And you're going to cut that skin and you're just going to discard that. Okay, so now you're left with the breasts still on the bone. Okay, so we're going to take these off individually. So this is probably the easiest thing you'll ever do. Again, chickens have guidelines in them. They have dotted lines. If I was going to take a marker, I could show you exactly where to cut, and you could do it the same way every time. You're going to find what we call the keel bone. Okay, and that's right here, and that's just at that piece of cartilage that's right there. And when I cut it, you'll see what I'm talking about. So again, take the knife, tip, and when I say the tip, I think probably the first 2 inches of the knife. So it's really sharp, you have more control. If you start getting the whole knife in there, you're gonna start making mistakes and you're not gonna have a good product to use. So today we're gonna take this, again, get comfortable, and we're gonna look for that bone, and that bone is right here. And what you wanna do is take that tip, and you wanna feel for that bone, and you wanna go right against it. So it's almost like your guideline. Okay, and you just wanna scrape it with that blade. And the chicken's so very tender that it will cut very easily. You don't have to do much work, okay? Let it help you. Use that as a guide and just push down a little bit. So once you've done that, now you want to get your thumb right against that bone, okay? And now that you've made a clean cut, you can get right in there. If you feel like it, you want to scrape a little bit more. This is actually a very clean cut. So you see we've exposed the tender that we'll get a better look at once we remove the breast. And we're just going to take this whole breast. We're going to let the weight of the chicken breast help us make the cut. So between a sharp knife and gradual cuts and the weight of the chicken breast, you'll see how easy it is to come off. So you're just going to take your blade, and again, that bone, there's another piece here, okay, and it's cartilage, and that's the key. That tip of that knife should never come off of that edge. You're going to come through there, and you're just going to make another cut, just like that, and keep scraping. I've never made a whole cut. I've never pushed. I've just gradually scraped, almost like a razor blade, and see how the weight of the chicken has now made it fall. It just did it itself. So you're just going to scrape, and you're going to come off of here. You're going to avoid that bone right there. You're going to make one full sweep like that, and now you have a breast fillet. Okay, so it's a boneless, skinless breast fillet. Every chicken breast fillet has a tender right there. So a lot of times when you get this in the supermarket, the tender will already be taken off. So you can now, have not only those pieces, the bone-in pieces, but now you can have your very own tenders too, which are great to grill or bread and fry. Just a lot of fun stuff. So now you have a chicken breast you can do something with. You could do something with the thighs, and now you can do something with the tender. I doubt a lot of people are cutting up their own chicken and making their own chicken tenders, so that's pretty exciting. What you want to do is see how that flaps off just like right there. So that's the tender. That's the whole tender right there, and it's just attached, just real clean to that chicken breast. You just want to slice that like that and just pull. Again, this is one of those things where you don't want to yank. You just want to gradually cut. Okay, so that's it, and that's why that sharp knife is so important. So you have a chicken tender, and that's what it should look like. It should be clean, it should be whole, and of course you'll have that tendon in there as well. And what you can do is, this is a good time to get your shears, because once you've pulled that out, you can just clip that tender like that and throw that away. And then you have a clean tender. So now we have a tender. Now that we have all of the pieces, set aside just like this, we're gonna start breaking them down so that you can use it. You could use them whole, but if you want to extend the life of the chicken and extend the usages, I'm gonna show you a couple ways to do that. So once you've cut this, you have this whole wing. One of the things is, a great recipe is to roast these. Of course, there's other recipes on the website that you can see using these other parts of the chicken, but today we'll just talk about them raw. So one of the things, if you're gonna roast this whole, of course you have this flipper on here, and that'll burn. So what you wanna do is, you just kinda wanna snap that a little bit, and to do that, and now you have a whole wing, and you can roast that just like that. Okay, so that's a little trick. That's kind of fun. What we'll do on this one, if you want to do like party platter or something, we're going to show some other recipes, in other parts of the website, like I said. But most recipes will call for the both parts split apart, so the drumette and the flat, or the wing. Okay, so now you're left with the drumette and the flat there. So that's a whole wing, which is really good too. But today we're going to split them apart so you can see what to do. So in this case, what you want to find is that end of the drumette. Okay, so just like on the whole chicken, it looks exactly like that, just in a smaller version. So we're going to find that spot right there. And again, a good thing about this is that, hold that knife, look for that gap, okay, and then cut right through. So again, a little bit of force, but not a whole lot. And once you've found that, you see 2 clean cuts. So that's it. I mean, you'll know you did wrong because you'll see blood coming through that bone. So those are 2 really good cuts, and that's what you want to end up with. You got a clean ball joint from your original cut, and then you have the good cut from the split. So now you have a little drumette, and you have a wing, or a flat, and then you have the whole wing. All right, now you have the leg quarters. And of course the leg quarter is your thigh meat, and your drum stick. So what we're gonna do here is, this is another one of those things where a chicken gives you the place to cut. You just gotta feel for it, be patient. This is not a race. So you wanna take this, you wanna, you know, the biggest thing is to make sure that skin is tight so you can feel what you're doing. And if you feel right in there, you know, about the length of the drumstick, feel right in there, there's a little bit of a gap. Okay, so what we're gonna do is, you kind of just leave your finger there. It's a good little trick. Leave your finger there right up until you're gonna cut. Move your finger before you cut. But you wanna feel right there, and you wanna get right in there, okay? And now see, I'm putting a little bit of pressure, and I'm cutting right through, and you have a clean drumstick. So see that clean, see how white that bone is exactly what you wanna see. And you'll know immediately as you push your knife down into the bone, it's gonna cut. So you've found that gap. So now you have a drumstick and a thigh. The thing about thighs, of course, they're going to have more skin. Today we took the skin off the boneless breast, but you know, if you're going to roast these or put these on the grill, the skin is a real vital part. So now we have a nice bone-in thigh fillet and a drumstick. We have a leg quarter, we have a boneless breast, and we have a tender. So one of the things you're left with is the frame, and you don't want to throw that away. You know, this is good. Now you're getting to the part where you've used the whole chicken, you've taken all the usable meat off it, but you're left with some bone. So we have this flipper here too. There's a few things you can do. You can take this, and what you want to do is you want to clean out just some of the extra guts that are in there. It's just vital parts of the chicken that don't come out in the process. But you want to take that, and the key to that is just run that underwater and clean that out. So you want to get those dark pieces out of there. What you can do is you can take this with vegetables and water and some herbs and put it in a pot and make chicken stock. You can make chicken soup. And that's a real good way to use this whole chicken. Again, with the flippers, you can put those in there too. If you want to take it to another level, you can roast this in an oven first and put this in a pot with the same vegetables, carrots, onions, celery, and make chicken stock, which is, you know, vital to every recipe. So what we've done here today is we've taken a whole chicken and we've gotten you many usable parts. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 usable parts, and you can double that here by splitting that, and doubling that there by splitting that apart as well. So remember, the tips are a really sharp knife, a good sturdy knife, you know, a chef's knife, which we didn't use, but if you feel more comfortable with a heavier blade, you can go ahead and do that. Again, this is a fillet knife or a boning knife, and again, remember that flexibility and that sharp edge. And then kitchen shears, which again are not absolutely necessary, but they're good to have on hand. And another key is a clean plastic cutting board. Keep it clean, keep your area sanitary and sanitized, and you want to wipe down and you want to keep your hands clean. And you also want to make sure that you only use this cutting board for chicken or raw meats. Do not come back and cut an onion or anything like that. So here we have a chicken and the proper way to do it.